Aloha! Welcome to the Waikoloa Dry Forest Preserve. My name's Jackie Milligan, and today I'm going to be introducing you to some arts and crafts. Do you like being creative? Do you like nature? So do I. So today we're going to be doing some leaf printing. For this activity, you are going to be needing some white paint. This is acrylic, but you can use tempera, any kind of paint besides watercolor. Watercolor is a little bit too watery for this. You're also going to need a paintbrush. You're going to need some water and a tray for your palette here, as well as a scratch piece of paper and a construction paper. I'm using black because I think the white looks really good on a contrast of white and black, but it's up to you whatever colors you want to use. For leaf printing, you are going to need lots of leaves. So today in the Waikoloa Dry Forest, we have lots of beautiful native plants that are thriving out here with the recent rains. And so I collected some different native plants that we're going to be using. All right, so for leaf printing, basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using the paint and the leaf kind of like a stamp to make an imprint of that leaf on the paper. I think it looks really cool on black because it kind of looks like a fossil, which I think is pretty awesome. All right, so I'm going to start with, let's start with Ilima. Ilima is one of our awesome native plants that has a beautiful little yellow hibiscus on it. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your paintbrush, and before you start, it's really important to look for leaves that have really good veination. So when I say veination, I want you to look for leaves that have really prominent veins in here. So if you're not sure what a leaf vein is, what are the veins in our bodies? What do? They transport blood. So they transport important oxygen and nutrients to our organs, and the same thing happens in these leaves. The veins actually work to transport oxygen and nutrients to the different cells in the leaf, which is pretty cool. All right, so you want to look for one with prominent veins, and all of these have pretty prominent veins in them. Hopefully, when we put paint on them, they'll transfer onto the paper. All right, we're gonna start. So you're going to get a little bit of paint on your paintbrush here. You don't want too much, and you're just going to try to dust it with the white paint here. And you want to make sure that you're getting all of the different veins in there. The veins are the most important, and the leaf edges, because you want to be able to see the outline of the leaf. Ooh, it's a little bit windy here. Now, sometimes when we do this with kiddos, they really want to put a ton of paint on there, and you don't want to do that because if you put too much paint, it's just going to turn out like a little blob. You want to be able to see the detail in the leaf structure. Now, when you're doing this, you always want to make sure you're painting the side of the leaf where the veins are most prominent. So on this leaf, I did the back. So on this leaf, it would be this side. You want to do not the smooth side, but the veined side that has more prominent veins on it. Okay, so we painted it on our scrap paper so as not to get it everywhere. We're going to try to think of a good spot where we can put it. I'm going to put it right here. And you're just going to push it as, you're going to give it enough pressure so that it touches the paper, but you don't want to squish it too hard. If you squish it too hard, it's just going to be a blob, okay? If you have a lot of paint, you want to do a little bit of pressure. If you have a little bit of paint, you're going to put a lot of pressure. All right, let's see how it turned out. Whoa! Look at that. Pretty awesome. So I did one. You can usually reuse a leaf a couple times before it stops kind of losing that contrast in between the veins. So I'm going to go one more time, and because this has less paint on it than it did before, I'm going to press it a little bit harder. All right, Ilima, here we go. Ooh. Now, these types of art projects are great for all kinds of things. I like to make note cards out of these. You can make bookmarks. You can even make wrapping paper if you want to make your own wrapping paper. So I think I'm going to just do 2 Ilimas and then we'll move on to another leaf. Let's see. This one right here is really fuzzy, and remember we're going to do the back side where you can see a lot more of the veination that's going on in those leaves. I'm going to get some of the paint on here, and remember we're not doing too much, we're just kind of dusting in here. Now here in the Waikoloa Dry Forest, it's super windy, so I like to tape down all of our papers because you don't have to worry about everything blowing away. And remember, when you're picking leaves, or if you found leaves on the ground, you do want to be conscious of making sure that those leaves are not from endangered plants that are very rare. We want to make sure we're not doing that. Okay, let's try this out. Put it right here. Press it down. Alright, let's pull it up. Whoa! Oh, I love it. It's starting to look really cool. Now, if you want to get fancy with it, you can start to do patterns. I just like to kind of go where my mind thinks it wants to go. I kind of feel like I want to be creative with it, and I don't really want to plan it out. Some people like to plan it out. Now, if you really like color, which I usually really love color, as you can tell by my shirt, but you can actually make like rainbow leaf prints if you want. You can paint certain parts of the leaf one color and the other color. I've seen people do rainbows along the leaf, but it's whatever you think you want to do. I think that's starting to look pretty good. All right, let's do one more. I feel like you guys are getting the idea of it. Here we go. Doing the back side here. Now this one is so smooth that a lot of paint got on it when I brushed it. So what I do sometimes is I'll actually press it down on the scratch paper just a little bit to get some of that excess off. That way when I put it down, it's not going to be super blobby. Where do I want this one to go? I'm going to put it right here. Let's see. Ta-da! I think it looks really cool. Let's do one more time. Awesome. So this is a really cool way to be able to remember where you've been if you're visiting a place and you find leaves on the ground. What I like to do is I like to identify the plants that I've seen and write what they are along the edges so I know what they were. It's also a really cool way to make some wall art or to give a gift to a family member. I have some that I've already made that I can show you. This is one that I made earlier today, and I used about 7 or 8 different native plants in the dry forest here. All of them are not endangered, and there were quite a few of them on the ground. But this is a way to use some things in nature to get creative. And then I have one other one here. This is a sample of maybe some gift wrap that you could make. So you just have to get some butcher paper or there's different papers. You could even use bags from the grocery store. Just cut them inside out and get the inside plain part. And you can use all kinds of colors to wrap gifts. All right, I hope you had fun. I hope you get to try this at home with your family and friends. Have fun with it. And you know you had fun if you're all messy afterwards. All right, see you next time.